Every morning, you wake up to two voices. One whispers, stay in bed. You deserve to rest. The other shouts, get up. Your dreams are waiting. Which voice will you listen to today? The choice you make will shape your entire future. Today we're going to talk about force yourself to get things done. That's what separates the successful from the dreamers. You see, success isn't about what you know, it's about what you do with what you know. It's about taking action day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it. Let me tell you something, folks. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're scared, or if you think you're not ready. The world only cares about results. And results come from one thing and one thing only. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I'm not motivated enough. Well, let me let you in on a little secret. Motivation is a myth. It's a fairy tale we tell ourselves to justify our inaction. The truth is, successful people aren't always motivated. They're disciplined. They've learned to force themselves to get things done, regardless of how they feel. Think about it. Do you think every Olympic athlete wakes up every morning feeling motivated to train? Do you think every successful entrepreneur leaps out of bed, bursting with enthusiasm to tackle the day's challenges? Of course not. But they do it anyway. Why? Because they understand a fundamental truth. Action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You see, most people have it backwards. They wait to feel motivated before they take action. But that's not how it works. You take action first, and then the motivation follows. It's like pushing a car. It's hardest to get it moving at first, but once it's rolling, it becomes easier to keep it going. Let me give you an example. Say you've got a big project you need to work on. You're not feeling it. You'd rather watch TV or scroll through your phone. But instead of giving in to that temptation, you forced yourself to sit down and work on it for just 15 minutes. What happens next? More often than not, you'll find that once you start, you'll want to keep going. That's because action creates momentum, and momentum fuels motivation. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Forcing yourself to get things done when you don't feel like it is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. But it's also one of the most rewarding, because every time you push through that resistance, every time you do what needs to be done, despite not feeling like it, you're building a skill that's more valuable than any of us. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is the key to success in any area of life. It's what allows you to stick to your diet when everyone around you is indulging in junk food. It's what gets you to the gym when your bed feels oh so comfortable. It's what keeps you working on your business when your friends are out having fun. And here's the kicker. The more you practice self-discipline, the easier it becomes. Think of self-discipline like a muscle. The first time you try to lift a heavy weight, it's incredibly difficult. But if you keep at it day after day, week after week, that same weight becomes easier to lift. Your muscle grows stronger. Self-discipline works the same way. The more you force yourself to get things done, the easier it becomes to do so in the future. But here's the thing. You can't wait for the perfect moment to start building this muscle. You can't say, I'll start being disciplined when I have more time, or I'll start when things calm down at work. No, the time to start is now. Today, this very moment. Because let me tell you something, folks. Life is short, it's precious, and it's passing by whether you're making the most of it or not. Every day you wait is a day you'll never get back. Every opportunity you let slip by because you didn't feel like it is an opportunity lost forever. So how do you start? How do you begin to force yourself to get things done? Well, it starts with a decision to stop making excuses. A decision to stop waiting for the perfect moment. A decision to stop letting your feelings dictate your actions. Once you've made that decision, the next step is to create systems that make it easier for you to take action. You see, willpower alone isn't enough. You need to set up your environment in a way that supports your goals. For example, if you want to start exercising in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthier, stock your fridge with nutritious foods and get rid of the junk. If you want to be more productive at work, turn off notifications on your phone and create a distraction-free workspace. These might seem like small things, but they add up. They reduce the friction between you and the actions you need to take. They make it just a little bit easier to force yourself to get things done. Another powerful strategy is to break big tasks down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Often, we procrastinate because the task ahead seems overwhelming. But when you break it down into smaller steps, it becomes much less daunting. Let's say you need to write a report for work. Instead of thinking about it as one big task, break it down, break it down. Step line, the main points, step 2. Write the introduction, step 3, and so on. Suddenly, instead of one intimidating task, you have several smaller. Now, as you're working on these tasks, it's important to eliminate distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. They're on your phone, on your computer, even in your pocket. And each of these distractions is competing for your most valuable resource, your attention. So when it's time to work, put your phone away. Close unnecessary browser tabs. If possible, find a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. Remember, every time you get distracted, it takes time to refocus. By eliminating distractions, you're making it easier to force yourself to get things done. But what about when the task is something you really don't want to do? Something you've been putting off for days, weeks, or even months? Well, that's when you need to employ what I call the 5-minute rule. The 5-minute rule is simple. Commit to working on the task for just 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. Anyone can do anything for 5 minutes, right? And here's the beauty of it. Once you start, you'll often find that you want to keep going. But even if you don't, even if you stop after those 5 minutes, you've still made progress. You've broken through that initial barrier of resistance. Now, as you're working on building this habit of forcing yourself to get things done, it's important to celebrate your wins, no matter how small they might seem. Did you finally make that phone call you've been putting off? Celebrate it. Did you clean out that junk drawer that's been bothering you for months? Celebrate it. You see, every time you force yourself to get something done, you're rewiring your brain. You're creating new neural pathways that make it easier to take action in the future. By celebrating your wins, you're reinforcing those pathways. You're telling your brain, hey, this is good. Let's do more of this. But here's the thing. As you're celebrating these wins, don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. Your journey is your own. The only person you should be competing with is the person you were yesterday. Remember, success is not about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you used to be. It's about consistent incremental improvement over time. And that improvement comes from forcing yourself to get things done day after day, week after week, year after year. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if I fail? What if I force myself to take action and things don't work out? Well, let me tell you something. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed many times. But here's what separates them from the rest. They didn't let those failures stop them. They forced themselves to get back up, to learn from their mistakes, and to try again. You see, failure is not a dead end. It's a detour. It's a learning opportunity. Every time you fail, you gain valuable information. You learn what doesn't work, which brings you one step closer to finding out what does work. So don't be afraid of failure. Be afraid of not trying. Be afraid of letting your fears and doubts hold you back. Be afraid of looking back on your life and wondering, what if? Because here's the truth. The biggest risk in life is not taking any risks at all. Playing it safe might seem comfortable in the short term, but in the long run, it leads to regret. It leads to a life of what ifs and if onlys. So I challenge you. Take risks. Force yourself to step out of your comfort zone. Force yourself to do the things that scare you, because that's where growth happens. That's where success happens. Now, as you're forcing yourself to get things done, it's important to remember why you're doing it. What's your big goal? What's your dream? What's that thing that gets you excited, that makes your heart race, that makes you willing to work when others are resting? You need to have a clear vision of what you're working towards. Because let me tell you, there will be days when forcing yourself to get things done feels impossible. There will be days when you want to give up, when you wonder if it's all worth it. And in those moments, your why becomes your lifeline. It becomes the thing that pulls you through. That reminds you why you started this journey in the first place. So take some time to really think about your why. Write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it every day. Let it be your guiding light, your North Star, your reason to keep pushing when things get tough. And speaking of tough times, let's talk about adversity. Because here's the thing, forcing yourself to get things done is never more important than when you're facing challenges. You see, adversity is not the enemy. Adversity is your teacher. It's what shapes you, what molds you, what transforms you from who you are into who you need to be to achieve your goals. Think about it. A diamond is just a lump of coal that did well under pressure. The most beautiful pearls come from oysters that have been irritated by grains of sand. And the most successful people, they're the ones who have faced the most adversity and refused to let it stop them. So when you face challenges, and you will face challenges, don't run from them. Don't hide from them. Force yourself to face them head on. Force yourself to learn from them. Force yourself to grow through them. Because here's the truth. The challenges you face today are preparing you for the opportunities of tomorrow. The struggles you're going through now are building the strength you'll need to succeed in the future. Now, as you're forcing yourself to get things done, as you're pushing through adversity, it's important to take care of yourself. You see, self-discipline isn't about punishing yourself. It's not about working yourself to the bone. It's about being consistent, about showing up day after day, about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. But to do that, you need to be at your best. You need to take care of your physical and mental health. You need to get enough sleep, eat well, exercise regularly. You need to take time to recharge, to do things you enjoy, to spend time with the people you love. Because here's the thing, forcing yourself to get things done isn't about being busy all the time. It's about being productive. It's about making the most of your time and energy. And sometimes the most productive thing you can do is rest. So don't feel guilty about taking breaks. Don't feel bad about taking time for yourself. These aren't luxuries. They're necessities. They're what allow you to keep pushing, to keep forcing yourself to get things done day after day, week after week, year after year. Now, let's talk about habits. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, habits are your secret weapon. You see, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like how small amounts of money can grow into a fortune over time through compound interest, small habits can lead to remarkable results if you stick with them long enough. The key is consistency. It's not about making huge changes overnight. It's about making small, consistent improvements every single day. Want to write a book? Force yourself to write 500 words every day. Want to get in shape? Force yourself to exercise for 30 minutes every day. Want to start a successful business? Force yourself to work on it for an hour every day. These might seem like small actions, and they are. But if you do them consistently, day after day, week after week, month after month, the results will amaze you. Because here's the thing. Success isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. It's not about working 18-hour days for a week and then burning out. It's about showing up every single day, putting in the work, forcing yourself to get things done even when you don't feel like it. And as you're building these habits, as you're forcing yourself to take action day after day, something remarkable happens. These actions start to become part of who you are. They become automatic. They become your default mode of operation. That's when forcing yourself to get things done becomes easier. That's when it starts to feel natural. That's when you've truly transformed yourself into a person of action, a person of discipline, a person of success. But here's the catcher. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes persistence. And that's where most people fail. They start strong, full of enthusiasm and determination. But when they don't see immediate results, they give up. They stop forcing themselves to get things done. They fall back into old habits, old patterns, old ways of thinking. Don't be like most people. Be patient, trust the process, understand that real, lasting change takes time. The seeds you plant today might not sprout tomorrow or next week or even next month. But if you keep watering them, if you keep tending to them, they will grow. And one day, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come. Now, let's talk about fear. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, fear is often the biggest obstacle. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown, fear of what others might think. These fears can paralyze us, can keep us from taking action, can prevent us from forcing ourselves to get things done. But here's the thing about fear. It's not real. Fear is just false evidence appearing real. It's our imagination running wild, conjuring up worst-case scenarios that rarely, if ever, come true. So how do you overcome fear? You face it, you force yourself to do the very thing you're afraid of? Because here's the truth. On the other side of your fear is everything you want. Think about it. What's the worst that could happen if you face your fear? You might fail. You might be embarrassed. You might face some temporary discomfort. But what's the best that could happen? You might succeed beyond your wildest dreams. You might discover strengths you never knew you had. You might change your life in ways you can't even imagine right now. And here's the kicker. Even if the worst does happen, even if you do fail, you'll realize it's not as bad as you thought. You'll realize you can handle it. You'll realize that failure isn't fatal. So don't let fear hold you back. Use it as fuel. Let it drive you to take action, to force yourself to get things done. Because the more you face your fears, the less power they have over you. Now, as we're talking about forcing yourself to get things done, it's important to address the role of passion. Because here's a hard truth. Passion alone isn't enough. Don't get me wrong. Passion is important. It's what gives your work meaning. It's what makes the journey enjoyable. But passion without action is just a daydream. You see, too many people wait for passion to strike before they take action. They think that if they're passionate enough about something, the motivation to work on it will come naturally. But that's not how it works. Passion doesn't create action. Action creates passion. Think about it. How many times have you started learning something new? And at first it was hard, it was frustrating, it wasn't enjoyable at all. But you forced yourself to stick with it. You forced yourself to practice, to study, to put in the work. And then somewhere along the line, you realized you'd fallen in love with it. You'd become passionate about it. That's because passion isn't something you find. It's something you develop. It's something you cultivate through consistent action, through forcing yourself to get things done even when you don't feel like it. So don't wait for passion to strike. Don't wait for motivation to magically appear. Take action first. Force yourself to get things done. The passion, the motivation, the enjoyment. They'll follow. Now let's talk about the power of focus. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, focus is your superpower. In today's world, we're bombarded with distractions. There's always something vying for our attention. Always something trying to pull us away from what's truly important. But here's the thing. Successful people aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented or the luckiest. They're the ones who can focus. They're the ones who can block out the noise, ignore the distractions, and force themselves to concentrate on what really matters. Think about it. When you're truly focused on a task, when you're in that state of flow, time seems to fly by. You're more productive, more creative, more effective. You get more done in less time. But focus doesn't just happen. It's a skill you have to develop. It's something you have to practice. It's something you have to force yourself to do. So how do you develop focus? Start by eliminating distractions. Turn off notifications on your phone. Find a quiet place to work. Use tools that block distracting websites. Create an environment that supports concentration. Then practice focusing for short periods of time. Start with just 15 minutes of focused work. then gradually increase the duration. Use techniques like the Pomodoro method, where you work intensely for 25 minutes, then take a short break. Remember, focus is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets, and the stronger your focus becomes, the easier it is to force yourself to get things done. Now, let's talk about the power of your words. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, the way you talk to yourself matters more than you might think. You see, your internal dialogue shapes your reality. If you constantly tell yourself, I can't do this, or this is too hard, guess what? You're right. You can't, and it is too hard. But if you change your internal dialogue, if you start saying things like, I can figure this out, or this is challenging, but I'm up for it, you change your reality. You empower yourself to take action, to force yourself to get things. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful thinking. This is about reframing your challenges in a way that empowers you to face them head. So pay attention to your self-talk. Catch yourself when you're using negative, disempowering language. Replace it with words that inspire action, that motivate you to push through difficulties, that reminds you of your strength and capability. Remember, the most important conversations you have are the ones you have with yourself. Make sure they're pushing you forward, not holding you back. Now, let's talk about the importance of taking responsibility. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, taking full responsibility for your life is crucial. You see, as long as you're blaming others for your circumstances, as long as you're making excuses for why you can't achieve your goals, you're giving away your power. You're putting your success in someone else's hands. But when you take full responsibility for your life, for your successes and your failures, for your actions and your inactions, you take back that power. You put yourself in the driver's seat. Taking responsibility means no more excuses. It means no more I would, but, or I could, if only. It means looking at your life and saying, this is where I am. This is where I want to be. And it's up to me to bridge that gap. Is it easy? No. Is it comfortable? Definitely not. But it's necessary. Because only when you take full responsibility for your life can you truly force yourself to get things done. Now let's talk about the power of your environment. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, your environment plays a bigger role than you might think. You see, we are all, to some degree, products of our environment. The people we surround ourselves with, the places we spend our time, the information we consume, all of these shape our thoughts, our behaviors, our actions. So if you want to force yourself to get things done, if you want to become more productive, more disciplined, more successful, you need to create an environment that supports those goals. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, who push you to be better. Spend time in places that energize you, that motivates you to take action. Consume information that educates you, that expands your mind, that fuels your ambition. Remember, it's much easier to force yourself to get things done when your environment is pushing you in the right direction. Now let's talk about the power of persistence, because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, persistence is your greatest ally. You see, success rarely happens overnight. It's not about making one big decision or taking one massive action. It's about making small, consistent decisions and taking small, consistent actions over a long period of time. It's about forcing yourself to get things done day after day, week after week, month after month, even when you don't see immediate results. It's about trusting the process, believing in your vision, and refusing to give up no matter how many obstacles you face. Remember, the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is not talent or intelligence or luck. It's persistence. It's the willingness to keep going when others would quit. So cultivate persistence, make it your superpower. Because when you combine persistence with the ability to force yourself to get things done, you become unstoppable. Now let's talk about the importance of learning. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, continuous learning is essential.
You see, the world is constantly changing. New technologies emerge, new challenges arise, new opportunities present themselves. If you're not learning, if you're not growing, if you're not adapting, you're falling behind.
So make learning a priority. Force yourself to read books, to take courses, to seek out new experiences. Force yourself to step out of your comfort zone, to challenge your assumptions, to expand your knowledge and skills. Remember, the more you learn, the more you can do. The more you can do, the more value you can create. And the more value you create, the more success you'll achieve. Now, let's talk about the power of gratitude. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, gratitude can be a powerful motivator. You see, it's easy to focus on what we don't have, on what we haven't achieved yet. But when we do that, we rob ourselves of the energy and motivation we need to take action. Instead, try focusing on what you do have, on what you have achieved. Be grateful for your abilities, for your opportunities, for the progress you've made so far. That attitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. It reminds you of your blessings, of your strengths, of the resources you have at your disposal. And when you're in that state of mind, when you're feeling grateful and abundant, it becomes easier to force yourself to get things done. It becomes easier to take action, to push through difficulties, to persist in the face of challenges. So cultivate gratitude. Make it a daily practice. Force yourself to find things to be thankful for, even on your toughest days. Because gratitude isn't just about feeling good. It's about creating the positive energy you need to take action and achieve your goals. Now let's talk about the importance of balance. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, maintaining balance is crucial for long-term success. You see, it's easy to fall into the trap of all work and no play, to push yourself relentlessly, to force yourself to work every waking hour. But that's not sustainable. Eventually, you'll burn out. True productivity, true success, comes from balancing hard work with rest and recovery. It comes from forcing yourself to get things done when it's time to work and forcing yourself to relax and recharge when it's time to rest. Remember, you're not a machine. You can't operate at full capacity all the time. You need time to rest, to reflect, to enjoy life. You need time to cultivate relationships, to pursue hobbies, to take care of your physical and mental. So as you're forcing yourself to get things done, make sure you're also forcing yourself to maintain balance in your life. Because balance isn't just about feeling good. It's about creating the conditions for long-term success and fulfillment. Now, let's talk about the power of visualization. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, visualization can be a powerful tool. You see, your mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined. When you visualize yourself taking action, achieving your goals, overcoming obstacles, you're programming your mind for success. Visualization creates a blueprint for your subconscious mind to follow. It makes your goals feel more real, more achievable. It increases your belief in yourself and your abilities. So take time each day to visualize yourself forcing yourself to get things done. See yourself taking action, pushing through difficulties, achieving your goals. Make these mental images as vivid and detailed as possible. Remember, what you consistently focus on expands. By regularly visualizing success, you're training your mind to recognize opportunities, to find solutions, to take the actions necessary to turn your vision into reality. Now let's talk about the importance of celebrating progress. Because when it comes to forcing yourself to get things done, acknowledging and celebrating your progress is crucial. You see, it's easy to focus solely on the end goal, to think that you'll only be satisfied when you've achieved everything you set out to do. But that's a recipe for frustration and burnout. Instead, learn to celebrate the small wins along the way. Recognize the progress you're making, no matter how small it might seem. Celebrate the fact that you forced yourself to take action, that you pushed through resistance, that you're one step closer to your goals. These celebrations serve several purposes. They boost your motivation, reminding you that your efforts are paying off. They reinforce the habit of taking action, creating positive associations in your mind. And they provide moments of joy and satisfaction along your journey. making the process of achieving your goals more enjoyable. Remember, success is not a destination. It's a journey. By celebrating your progress, you're not just making that journey more enjoyable, you're increasing the likelihood that you'll reach your destination. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with one final thought. Forcing yourself to get things done isn't about being perfect. It's not about never failing or never facing setbacks. It's about consistently taking action, learning from your experiences, and moving forward despite obstacles. There will be days when you fall short, days when you don't accomplish everything you set out to do, days when forcing yourself to take action feels impossible, and that's okay. What matters is that you don't let those days define. What matters is that you get back up, dust yourself off, and force yourself to get back on track. Remember, success isn't about never falling. It's about getting up every time you fall. It's about forcing yourself to take that next step, to make that next attempt, to keep pushing forward even when things get tough. So embrace the journey, embrace the challenges, embrace the process of forcing yourself to get things done, because it's through this process that you'll grow, that you'll learn, that you'll become the person you're capable of being. You have greatness within you. You have the power to achieve amazing things. But that power remains dormant until you take action, until you force yourself to get things done, until you push through the resistance, face your fears, and do what needs to be done. So I challenge you. Starting today, force yourself to get things done. Force yourself to take action towards your goals. Force yourself to become the person you know you can be. Remember, the future belongs to those who take action, to those who force themselves to get things done, to those who refuse to let their circumstances, their fears, or their doubts hold them back. You have that power within you. Now it's time to use it. It's time to force yourself to get things done. It's time to create the life you've always dreamed of. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The future is yours. Now go out there and make it happen. Force yourself to get things done and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. Thank you.